Okay, so let's now go to part 3 of the PCA video tutorial, where we're going to take a look at the steps on how to use that PCA software that you downloaded and installed earlier. Okay, so first up, how are we going to launch that software? So there are two ways. First one is for you to go to your desktop, and during installation it asks you if you'd like to create a shortcut on your desktop. So if you checked on that, it's going to show you this icon right here. Another way for you to launch it is to go to your Start menu, click on your Programs list, and look for the folder that is named as PCA Work Monitor. If you click there, you'd be able to see an option to go to the PCA launcher or the uninstaller. So of course you'd like to launch it first, so click here. And once you do that, it's going to show you the login interface. Okay. So as you can see, this is one of the earlier versions of the software, and it's asking you to punch in your email address and your password, which are automatically provided to you by your supervisor, as well as an employer ID. And I'm gonna tell you more about that in a bit. So let me just log in for now. Alright, so as you can see, I punched in the number 1. Now, on our clients or employer list in our database, the number 1 corresponds to people in the cloud. Okay, I'm working directly for people in the cloud, meaning every time I log in here, I'm charging people in the cloud with the hours that I'm working for, or the hours that I'm working. Okay, so if you are with web development or telemarketing, most probably you'll be assigned with a different employer ID, which corresponds to the clients that we have. Okay, you would want to be very careful and double check with your supervisor as to which employer ID you're going to be using for that week, especially if you're changing clients, so that we can avoid, charging the wrong clients. So be very, very careful about that. Okay, so I'm going to log in with employer 1 because I want to charge people in the cloud for the services that I'm rendering right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in, and what I'm going to see next is the PCA interface. This is it. This is the whole thing. Okay, everything else is installed in your computer, and as soon as you log in, it's automatically keeping track of your work hours, your taking screenshots of you and webcam shots of you every 3 minutes. Okay, so over here it shows you your email address, okay, your login date, login time, your employer ID. Very important for you to check this as soon as you log in. As soon as you notice that this is not right, or you made a typographical error, make sure to notify your supervisor right away so that they can make the necessary changes. Okay. Then you've got the client credit. Now what this means is this refers to the remaining hours that the client has paid so that you can continue working for him or her. Okay, so once this runs out and it really just goes to 0, as in flat 0, then PCA will no longer allow you to log in. And if that happens, you have to contact your supervisor and tell them that you ran out of credit, wherein your supervisor will coordinate with the client and ask them if they want to buy more hours so that you can continue working for them. Okay? Alright, next up you have your work timer, and this will automatically start counting as soon as you punch in or as soon as you log into PCA. And of course you have your break timer. Alright, you also have your option here to log out and go on break. So let's just say that you want to go on break, just click here. Okay, and as you can see, it has stopped counting your work timer. It also has stopped counting down your client credit hours, but it has started counting your break time. Okay, now if you are working with PITC on a full and fixed 8-hour shift, ideally your work timer must not be less than 7 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, because within your 8-hour shift, the client is paying you for 7 hours and 30 minutes of work time, and is also paying for 30 minutes of your break time. So ideally your break time should not be more than 30 minutes when you log out for the day. Okay, so ideally before you end your shift, this should be not less than 7 hours 30 minutes, and this should not be more than 30 minutes if you are in a fixed schedule. Alright? Okay, so let's just say that you went on break. So you've been on break for a minute now. And what happens is, just to remind you, since you're on break, PCA will no longer, or temporarily rather, PCA will temporarily cease or pause in taking screenshots of your computer and webcam shots of you. So during your break, you can go ahead and visit Facebook, you can watch videos on YouTube and stuff like that. Okay. But once you click on resume work, it's going to continue taking those screenshots again. Alright? So let's just say you're ready to go to work. Just click on resume work. And as you can see, it went back to the break work. So that just in case you have to run outside and go on break again, the option is available for you. Okay? So as you can see, when you clicked on that, it continued counting your client credit and your work timer. And it has stopped counting your break time. Okay? Alright, pretty easy. Now let's take a look at the options for you to hide this window, because obviously if you're working, you don't want this in the way. Okay? So there are two options, actually three options to hide it. First one is to minimize it to your taskbar. Second is to minimize and hide it in your system tray so that it doesn't get in the way. And the next option for you is to close the application. Okay. So I'm going to show you what this does. If you click here, it's going to minimize it to your taskbar, which means it's going to be in line with your other applications on your taskbar. So if you're multitasking, you have a lot of applications up, this is most probably going to get in the way. So if you don't want that in there, you actually have an option to click on this button to minimize it to your system tray. And once you do that, it's no longer going to appear on your taskbar. What's going to happen is it's going to be hiding itself here on your system tray. Okay. Now, again, this is one of the early versions. This is supposed to show you a tiny icon of the PCA, but we're still working on that. So if you click here, or actually if you right click here, it's going to show you some shortcut commands. So this is for you to show the interface. This is for you to go on break, or for you to resume work without having to launch it, and to automatically log out. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on show. And there it is. It's showing you the interface again. Okay. So please make it a habit that whenever you go back from break, you click on resume work right away. Because otherwise, they're going to think that you've been on break for a long time. The same thing, if you want to start your break, make sure that you click on break work. Otherwise, while you're eating or doing other things that are not related to work, you will be charging the client when they're not supposed to be charged. Okay? So that's it. Once you're done for the day, just go ahead and click on log out, and it'll show you a message that you've been logged out from the system. And once you see that, it will stop taking screenshots of your computer and webcam shots of you. And it will also stop keeping track of your login hours. And that's it. That's how you use the PCA software. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.